Esto es para Ishirantes, c'est ça?
Ouais. Ah! Ah, oula.
Aw,
So cute.
adorable.
Good morning. Yeah,
Hey.
I posted that on my Telegram channel this morning. Such a cute little wholesome video.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, if anybody watching that doesn't know Nev's channel on Telegram, we start every day with beautiful animal videos, funny stuff. It's great. So
It is. It's so adorable.
head on over to Nev's on Telegram. So
Yeah,
the horse-
Nev's channel. It's like Nev's channel. I tried to get the Nev's name, but somebody already had it.
Okay. Hey, Herbie's with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Herbie. How are you, friend?
Me or Herbie?
Both of you guys. I was asking Herbie, but I want to know how you are too.
I'm doing well. I'm so cold. It's summer and it's hot, but I'm cold. But
You're
I drink.
cold?
I know, but it's cold in the house, so I'm always cold.
That's so funny.
How are you?
I'm good. Since Herbie's in chat, I want to give him a shout out because I used his video this morning.
Oh yeah, you have to check out his channel.
Yeah,
Blazing
he's
Animals.
got a great channel, Blazing Animals. Herbie, you need to create a Twitter account. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So we're having coffee and conspiracies. I don't have my giant cup today, but
What?
I should have made like a ton of coffee for this because we have a lot of things to talk through. And I know we promised on the last show we'd talk about Vivek. Well, I don't know how you pronounce his name.
Vivek, I think.
I don't know.
Vivek.
Vivek. I think he says Vivek. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
And there's other stuff going on. We can talk about conspiracy theories and speculate on some things, which I'll be doing with Vivek anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah, Herbie, how are you? Let's see. We've got Deplorable Mike in there too.
Deplorable Mike, yeah.
Mike. Yeah. Oh, Herbie's doing great.
And Magnolia. Good
Hey,
morning,
Magnolia.
Everybody's up early.
Oh, yes. Yes. It's coffee time. That's why. How can we not be up for coffee? Oh, we have tons of stuff we want to share and talk about. Should we start with some of your stuff? And I'll save Vivek till the end because I could take the whole show with that. And I think let's start with some of our conspiracy talk.
Okay. Moxie's on. Good morning, Moxie.
Moxie, by the way, yeah, I forgot to mention that Moxie's not joining us this morning. And I know she's been off a few shows. But Moxie, we hope you're feeling better. I know you're going through some stuff. And we're thinking about you.
We are.
Thanks for joining in chat.
Praying for you, friend.
Yes, praying for you for sure. And I posted yesterday about shared Deneen's post about the January 6th defendant who is only 22 years old who committed suicide shortly after he was, going through all of his trial and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's so sad. Somebody in chat yesterday asked me after I reposted Deneen's post, where is that video of Biden on the Late Show saying he broke into the Capitol?
And you had it like 5 seconds later.
I did have it 5 seconds later.
That was weird. It really blew my mind. It's like, it's right here. What? That was impressive.
I have a storage of things.
Yeah. Well, we all know what that was about, and
I
it's
know.
just it is heartbreaking. Magnolia, all of us agree. It just is. It's heartbreaking and it's infuriating because
It is.
it shouldn't be happening. A lot of people are suffering injustice. So
I know. It makes me just so sad about all the January 6th people. But you know what? I want you all to hang in there. We're saying prayers for you. Trump will be back soon. And I know that's not helpful for people who are already serving their time. But there will be retribution.
I mean, he said it recently that he's going to take care of everyone.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's hard when you're in the midst of it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Pretty
Anyway, I
brutal.
hadn't planned on talking about that, but I don't know why that came up, just popped in my head. I just want to say prayers because we were
Yes.
talking about prayers and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
do you want to just do a quick Lahaina update? Because
sure.
on Tuesday we talked about that it's quiet, like the parents are quiet and what's happening over there. Like I just have been waiting for some things to percolate to the top with the people in anger.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be, grief, but also anger, rage. But Media One, I
Which one?
got
You
this.
have three medium ones.
Sorry, 1A.
Okay, yeah, we've got this video.
And I don't. It might be a little long, but you get the gist. Whatever point you want to take it down. But yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, people are angry and they have every right to be.
They do.
All right.
Disneyland or an amusement park. No malls. We're gonna make it look like Kalakaua, Kapiolani Park. We want a bandstand. We want our people, Filipinos, Portuguese, Chinese, Koreans, Hawaiians, every nationality, to have this memorial park so we can celebrate our community, not be second citizens. I'm sick of it. I'm done with being nice. This is not going to be a hospitality destination anymore. If you want to come here, it'll be cultural. Get to know the people. I'm done. I'm going to tell everybody, and maybe now I am. Ocean. No more nothing for us anymore in ocean, except sunscreen. So let us get back to our Aina. We can survive. If the United States government don't help us, maybe Japan going, they love Hawaii. Maybe one other country, but if they can freaking take care of Ukraine, yeah? $40 billion go to Ukraine. Fucking shit ain't coming to us. What the fuck? My tax paying money for 60 fucking years don't mean shit. But they're gonna take care of Ukraine. 40
We have to prepare for a more angry world, social revolution, anger on the streets. We are at a rupture point.
I thought that was an accident that you played that Klaus Schwab bit. I can't hear you.
Nope, I did it. I did it intentionally.
It is perfect because that's all part of their agenda.
I quick grabbed it while he was talking because I'm like, we got to show this.
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, when there's chaos, which they want to create, it's easier to get the people to look to the government to control it. Right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this guy has every right to be angry. Somebody asked in my chat yesterday, and I didn't respond. I was going to do some research before responding, but they're like, where can we give money? Because the money's not going there, and we're not
not trusting Oprah.
We're not trusting the people who are trying to collect money, which was funny. I didn't save this, but Oprah was trying to raise money, and she had millions of views
Mhm.
on her fundraiser, but only got like a few $1,000s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people are
that was
waking up.
very revealing.
Very revealing.
Good.
But people are wanting to know, what can they do? They want to help them.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Um,
It's so hard because
if anybody knows of a legit, like, trustworthy organization that might be helping or collecting donations,
yeah.
if you guys know of any, will you throw it in chat? We'd love to know, because people aren't going to give to Oprah Winfrey or the big stars these days. They just don't trust them. The money doesn't go to the people.
Yeah, and they have a right. And to his point, you know, we know what their plans, what they want to do there is build all these high rises for their housing crisis, and you know, their 15-minute cities, that whole agenda. But really, I think going there to learn about the culture of the Hawaiians, the history, I think that's great.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's saying, you know, we don't want tourists here, because they obviously need the tourist, you know, industry. But
he wants to keep the natives there, and
absolutely,
they're helping each other build themselves, but they want to, keep that culture.
Yeah, and it's so important. And as we know, you know, part of the New World Order agenda is to eliminate national sovereignty and identity. And so that would include them for the Hawaiian Islands, you know. So we already know that a lot of, what about 100 billionaires have just been buying up land there. They're all invested there. And the people feel like they're being pushed out. And then this.
Yeah.
So, and then also recently a dust screen is what they're calling it, has been erected around Lahaina. It's about 30,000 feet, I believe, of a screen, so you can't see inside.
Right.
And they're saying it's to.
I've got the video if you want me to show it.
Oh, no, it's okay. That's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
okay.
it's all right. But it just, you know, my mind always goes to, what are they hiding?
Well, yeah, that's why it's probably, well, I'll just open this screen really quick because you can see what it looks like, even though I won't play the video. See how it blocks? You can't see what they're doing behind it there?
Yeah. And it's going to be there until further notice.
Yeah, and they're saying it's to protect the dust from leaving the area while they work in there. But we won't be able to see what's going on. So they're completely blocking off that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
I wanted to, remember last week when you asked about the N95 masks? Because I think you know people that swear by them and they depend on them.
Yes.
Okay. So I did a quick look, and Media 2A, there was an NIH study that is suggesting that the N95 masks may expose wearers to really dangerous levels of toxic chemicals that are actually related to, I think it's cancer and seizures.
Yeah, this is incredible, because a lot of people wear N95s because they're told that the regular masks don't work for viruses.
Well, and they don't. That's already all the studies.
Right, but they're trying to say that N95s protect you more.
Exactly. So it's, and they've got these, they call it toxic volatile organic compounds, TVOCs.
Mm-hmm.
And in the cloth masks, they're 14 times lower. And the chemicals released in the N95 are 8 times higher than the recommended safety limit. So this is really not good. And they don't prevent the viruses from getting through.
Right.
They may block some, but not completely. So it just seems like a net loss when you have the toxins and then it doesn't block completely. So what is the point?
Exactly.
right?
Well, and we have, don't we have, yeah, we have video that illustrates.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. 2B.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me take this off. This is incredible because this is a visual thing. Thank you, Carrie, for this media
Yeah.
that illustrates what we're saying,
Okay.
pretty much. Wait a minute. Is that
Oops.
like, did it not start at the beginning?
It's oh.
Okay, let me start it over. It's
Okay.
showing you particle sizes.
Mm-hmm.
So the very first part of this was a human hair, and blood can get through the masks, and
Yeah.
it's like 1/1000th the size of a red blood cell.
Yeah.
That just shows you how tiny the viruses are. They can get through those holes in the masks.
Yeah. And we know that it was not about safety. It was a test of compliance. We know that, and if we would submit, and Moxie is saying, which is exactly what I was thinking, that surgeons wear them to protect from like saliva dripping out when they're inserting over a patient, or just to protect the patient in that regard. But they only wear them for a short period of time.
And they wear them to protect the patient.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible, that video, to illustrate, because it's hard to fathom when you can say things, like, yeah, these particles can get through the masks, but until you kind of see the reference of a human hair,
Yeah.
to how tiny a virus is, it's easier to illustrate. And they're trying to push COVID again.
Yeah.
And we knew that was coming.
We did. I have some thoughts about that, but I had a couple other things that it's like you could see the link. Let's see. So also, remember when I brought up X-Files, the 10th season,
Yes,
and how they had the RNA, they had the worldwide pandemic, and the vaccine was, introducing, RNA to our DNA and altering it and shutting down our immune systems. Okay, Media 2C. This is a recent vaccine study, and it's that, quote, it can reprogram a child's immune system for up to 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's crazy.
It really is. So there it is. And it can up to 6 months. However they got to that, I don't know. It suddenly stops, after 6 months anyway.
Well, it probably wears off.
Yeah, maybe this was the tester, but all the pathogens and the things that can be entered in, during that period. And we looked at the cancer rates in young adults. It was the all-cause mortality in 24 and younger. We talked about that on Tuesday. It's up 40%. And then there's also cancer rates that are skyrocketing.
Yeah, interesting. And you know what's interesting about that is YouTube is suddenly has I might have saved this off, actually. Maybe I didn't. But YouTube is blocking people from talking about cancer cures now.
Yeah, exactly.
They're calling it misinformation.
Yeah, because and just to finish that thought, that the largest increase in cancer is in women and people in their 30s, which is kind of a new phenomenon. I mean, you could get cancer as a child, it's true, but this great increase, and we're also seeing it with.
But isn't that interesting? The increase in cancer,
and then
now misinformation around cancer is coming out.
Right.
The
And
two, like putting those two together is, it's just kind of interesting.
well, and that they don't want to have alternative treatments like just massive doses of vitamin C. Like that's something that that's misinformation. But Linus Pauling won a Nobel Prize in medicine for his research on massive doses of vitamin C curing cancer. And my father lived 30 additional years when he had a 6-month diagnosis. And he was taking about 40,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day. I'm just saying that there are natural things, but they said they will promote the Mayo Clinic and other authorities. So anyway, and then just one other note on the vaccines is that another study, I've compiled about 300 post-COVID study articles. Media 2F talks about an ivermectin study that revealed 74% reduction in deaths in Peru when ivermectin was available. 74%. And then the 2 months following its restriction, there was a 14-fold reduction in excess deaths nationwide. And then when it was restricted, there was a 13-fold increase. So, and of course they didn't want us to have that anyway. But we know that they're talking about the new variants, all the variants, and a new booster, and which, by the way, Pfizer tested it on 23 people for a couple of weeks, I think it is. Those numbers might be a little off, but not a big study. And then they got approval. So it's just crazy stuff. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think they're going to be able to do it again. I don't think.
Oh, you had this article.
Oh, I did.
That's where I heard about it. I heard it through you.
Wait. Oh, did I send you that?
You did.
I had so many things I sent you. I'm sorry. I don't even know what I sent you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know somebody in chat says nobody's pushing COVID. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely.
They're starting to raise the alarm bells that a new variant is back, and schools are saying they're going to require masks in the beginning, and there's a lot of chatter starting about. And even Biden said, "Oh, we need to get a new vaccine out there and pay for that." He wants Congress to give him funds for a new vaccine. There's all kinds of chatter happening. And just in time to make it so severe that for the election next year, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One other thing that is really interesting, remember how the adverse reactions were originally posted on the VAERS? And then it was really devastating. And so then they changed it. They created this VSafe database.
Yes.
And that's where everything went. And when you go there, you actually can't see all of the adverse events.
They
right?
got rid of
You
them.
have to log into your own to enter what you've experienced. So that's 2G. Thank you. Thanks for pulling.
It's behind a paywall.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. But basically what they've done quietly, the CDC has removed this section from the website.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And yet they're pushing it and the new booster. So anyway, I don't think it's going to succeed. I think they're going to have to resort to something else. Yes, Moxie, it's definitely a troll.
Oh, that's fine. I don't mind responding.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
It is.
Everybody has different opinions.
Yeah. Did you see the interview with Tucker talking about how they're not going to succeed with the COVID narrative again? They're not going to be able to do it because too many people are onto it. And
who was Tucker interviewing?
Oh gosh, was that
because I wouldn't know if I remember that interview.
I think it might have, was it the what's his name? Bet David. Do you know who I'm talking about? Oh, I can't remember his first name, but he went into what he thinks is going to happen. And I was just curious, your thoughts. And he was thinking that it's really evident the leaders of our country right now want a World War III, like a hot war with Russia. I mean, it's been a proxy war with Ukraine, but it's just leading up, with other nations. There's a lot of movement still.
Did you see what I recently posted about Poland? So Poland, first of all, a few years ago, I think starting in 2017, they started expanding their military runway. And I mean, I didn't prep it for the show, but I recently posted about Poland is investing a lot of money into increasing their weapons, and they want to be the biggest force in Europe. And what struck out to me when I started reading about that was remembering when the whole Ukraine war started, that they were the ones that were sending like all their old military equipment and weapons, and they had old helicopters and stuff they were sending to Ukraine. And I remembered a couple of years ago reading about how the U.S. wants to start sending Poland equipment, new equipment. And now Poland, where they're planning on purchasing all this new equipment, is from us. So I'm like, what are they doing? Like, what are they prepping for? They're obviously prepping for something.
I think so. I think that the manpower in Ukraine, for the fighting age men, they've just been depleting. It's so sad. It really is so sad. So I think it's the troops they need. Maybe that's what's going on with Poland.
I'm just seeing all the little, like, you just see little things happen over the years, and it's like, okay, it's kind of obvious now. There's some prep going on.
And if there is a hot war, I mean, look at what happened with Roosevelt in World War II. He continued on. When you're at war, you don't have an election.
Oh, was there not an election with Roosevelt?
Right. I mean,
I don't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, FDR.
I didn't know he stopped the election.
No, I'm saying he had 3 terms or 4. You know what? That's terrible. I don't know off the top.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. It just continued on because of the.
Yeah, but when did term limits go in for the president? It wasn't in the beginning.
Okay, I'm not able to.
Okay, no, sorry, I wasn't sure what you were talking about, so I just.
But I'm just saying, if there was a hot war and. I don't know what would happen with the election. I just think that it's possible that they're staging that so that, yes, it could be a scare event, Mike.
They could hold the election. Like, if something big happened, they could say, we're under martial law.
Exactly.
We're going to delay the election, but.
That's what I mean. So,
yeah.
But Tucker also mentioned assassination attempts. It's like, oh, geez, like.
I know when he interviewed Trump, and Trump didn't answer that. If you noticed, twice he didn't answer that he's worried about that.
Do you think they tried already? I can't say.
He's probably been under that threat since he announced he was running for president way back in 2015.
Yeah.
So I hope obviously I hope and pray he's protected. But he's been under attack for a long time. Yeah. So he probably has extra protection.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
because like the Russia hoax started and the impeachments, I mean, they have been trying to get him out of office since he, was running right before the election 2016 when they started the Russia stuff.
Yeah. And they have to know that if they don't, after everything they put him through, they have to know something really big is going to happen to them when he gets in. And so the stakes couldn't be higher for them. And, but panic makes people do crazy things.
That's the question. Like, why him and not others? Like, why are they so afraid of him? I mean, we know.
Yeah, we do.
But I mean, that's a question. Like, if for people who are just our regular normie people in our lives, we should ask them that question. Like, why are they so afraid of Trump? That kind of makes light bulbs go off in people,
People should be asking that and then looking as to why. I mean, when you have the entire globalists, leaders, the media, like all the people against him.
Yeah.
And then we're living in the situation we're living in, seeing everything, how they're changing the nation. They should connect the dots. It shouldn't be that difficult, but
yeah.
So, Moxie was saying there have been attempts that they don't talk about. Yeah, I think there was something like a hang glider over the golf course in Scotland.
What did you say?
There are assassination attempts that they don't talk about. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, I think I read about a dozen, but I don't know if they're all, 100% accurate.
Yeah.
But we have
to. Mike says we're still waiting on a scare event. That's right, Mike. I think they're going to do a big one. And I feel like this is something I've just been kind of looking at lately, and I think we've all kind of heard this. Who knows if it could be something in Europe, like escalating the Russia-Ukraine thing and trying to get us into World War III. Or the aliens thing comes to mind.
Right. Nobody's paying attention to that, though.
But they just announced again, like they're going to have this new website available with all the information. We can search for all the D class, but I read between the lines, like I read the fine print.
Yeah.
And what they're actually going to provide are reports that they've investigated, that they're finished investigating and have figured out what it was.
Do you know what they figured out?
No, I haven't. I don't think they've released the website yet.
Oh, okay.
I think it's coming.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Well, it should be entertaining, the very least.
Well, I'll tell you what. If
our aliens episode, it was a couple of weeks ago. It was really good.
Yeah, and we talked about that's when I was having like a demon attack because I said they were demons. And
oh, right.
What's interesting?
The Nephilim.
Yeah. So doesn't that make you think about like Jesus is supposed to come back and bring like a lot of people on earth are just going to rise up and leave the earth, right? Like
the rapture.
Yes.
Yeah, pre-trib. Yeah, mid.
Well,
everybody has their. I'm pre-trib.
Well, no. The question the thing of it is like, are they pushing the alien thing so that they can have a distraction, or so they can have control, or are they real and they're demons and they're going to be saying that all these people disappeared because aliens took them, rather than letting people know that it was a biblical event? You never know.
I would say yes to the first two. I don't know about that.
No.
The last one.
But if you think about it, the times are supposed to be times of confusing people.
Deception.
Telling them the wrong thing. And honestly, like, obviously they have to have an explanation if that happened. And it couldn't be, you couldn't tell God or tell them that it was God's doing, could you? I mean, when you have that many people leave at once.
I imagine the people left behind would have to come up with something, and they would likely use that narrative.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
spitballing here, but
Yeah.
conspiracy theories,
Right. I think
Uh,
that might have been in. Well, anyway, we'll it'll be interesting to see what they come up with because they're
Yeah.
always saying they're investigating. Even back with that big report, and they investigated for like more than a decade, and they came out with there really wasn't anything. You remember that? I can't remember Blue Beam. I think that's what maybe that was something else. I'm sorry, all the different projects and operations, I get them confused at this time in the morning on Saturday. But you know what? I want to mention, I think it's a harbinger of things to come. The Gabon military coup in Africa.
Yes.
It's the 5th African country.
Yes.
And so
they're waking up over in Africa.
The military is taking out the puppet leaders, and it's interesting. This president in Gabon, Ali Bongo, he was courted by Obama from DC to Davos. He was like the guy. He was Obama's man.
Oh, was he? I'm not up to speed on that. I didn't pay attention much to Obama's foreign policy.
No, I didn't either. I learned this out recently.
Digging more into conspiracy theories about him and where he came from in his past. That's what I was worried about.
Right. Well, we know a lot of the leaders, up to current have, been placed, whether it's through color revolutions, just all different assassinations. But anyway, he was arrested on August 30th. He's under house arrest. But if we look back, and I read that a Rothschild funded mining company has been suspended. The operations have been suspended. So that's interesting. I don't know if it's Aramet, which is definitely owned or operated by the Rothschilds. But anyway, so it was Mali first, right? Wasn't that a couple years ago?
I'm not sure.
The first one, maybe it was 2020, and then Burkina Faso in September 2022, Guinea in September 21, and then Niger.
Yeah, that was the most recent one.
That was last month, and now Gabon on Wednesday. It's like, so it's very interesting that Africa is taking back their resources from the globalists.
Yep.
And their control.
Pretty sweet to witness. We're living in pretty incredible times right now.
And I think somewhere we've read that military is really the only way. Remember that? So
Q drop.
It's Q drop 26.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, was it 26? Wait, let me show the people cheering and then I'll pull that up.
Okay. All right. The people.
Coupa de la démocratie.
We're very excited.
Yeah. It's interesting that the African countries they're wise to Gates vaccines, right? Like many of them, he's not even allowed in their country. They're in many ways they're more awake than the Western nations. We're catching up, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it does seem that the remnants of colonialism in Africa are dying.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
they are, and it's so exciting to witness some of these things. We're living in historic times.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah,
that's pretty exciting. Yeah. There's a lot that's gone on this week. I've got one.
Okay.
Did you know that transportation? We need transportation equity. Did you know that we need transportation equity?
Well.
So yeah, all cars are bad now, not just the gasoline powered cars.
And how did they make it equitable? By
I
no
don't
one having a
know.
car?
Yeah,
Is that the answer?
I guess we need to ride our bikes or walk everywhere. And you know, if we have 15-minute cities, we could do that. So we should really embrace those 15-minute cities.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness. Yeah, I just I kind of cracked up when I saw this because Pete, come on. I mean, and the reason I saw this is because I was actually doing some digs on. I was just looking for more information on Vivek, and I haven't finished digging on that. So whatever I cover today is going to just be, you know, pretty much surface. I'm digging.
And you'll do a Substack with all of the stuff later, right?
Do you think I should? Should I do a Substack? Maybe I will.
I do.
But
That's important.
well, what's part of that digging, it's been all over the internet and viral that, oh my gosh, back in 2003, even though everybody keeps saying 2004, it was November 2003, people. Just letting you know. There was a forum for Democrats who were running for president for the 2004 election.
Mm-hmm.
And in November 2003, you know, MSNBC hosted this event where some younger folks could ask the candidates some questions. And there's a video of Vivek like smiling. Well, I've got the video, but basically, here, I'll play it and then
And I want to ask you, last week on the show, we had Senator Kerry, and this week and the week before we had Senator Edwards. And my question for you is, of all the Democratic candidates out there, why should I vote for the one with the least political experience?
And why is he voting for a Democrat candidate?
Well, and he has the least political experience.
Yeah.
Like, razor thin. I mean, does he have any?
Well, so here, this was 2003. So
Right.
obviously he didn't have any. And he's talking to Al Sharpton.
Oh,
Well, you shouldn't.
Sorry.
We played that in our last show, didn't we?
No, I don't know. But I have a reason for playing it.
Okay.
So,
sorry.
And it's a conspiracy theory. Why would Vivek be at this event and selected to ask a question of one of the candidates, and also Pete Buttigieg was also at the event and asked a candidate question.
And do you think young people's votes matter in your campaign?
They matter a lot. That's why I'm here tonight. And I've got to be in Iowa. I had a preset meeting that I've got to go to. I got to win Iowa. I'm going to win Iowa, so I'm going to be in Iowa tomorrow night. But I talk to young people everywhere I am. I've got lots of young people on my campaign, and maybe I ought to say this now. When I was in college, Jack Kennedy was president.
I'll actually pause it. But can you believe Pete,
both of them,
was also there? So that's been going around on Twitter. I think Jack Poso showed a side by side. You know,
interesting.
I've got a meme later when we do our memes.
Okay.
But isn't that curious?
It is.
They're both at that same event, and both were selected to be able to ask a question.
Yeah. Well, did you see? I don't know if it's a meme. I just saw it so briefly that Biden called Pete the Secretary of Booty Juice.
He did? I didn't see that.
Secretary Booty Juice. Oh my God.
It was a meme, or it was?
I don't know. You know, with Biden, it could have been real. Did anybody see that? I don't know if I
didn't see that.
I was on the night shift last night. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. That's hilarious. Anyway, no, I just so that was one of the things that came up while I was just, you know, looking up stuff.
Yeah, good find.
And no, but I'm in the middle of looking up one thing that I didn't clip, but I do just maybe want to call out some of my notes that I made on him. He's been doing rounds of interviews. We've got pros and cons. So he's been saying a lot of the right things, you know. I think we all love what he's saying. He says President Trump was the greatest president of all time, and he's very charismatic. He's very well spoken. But for me, I just as soon as I first saw him speak, instantly for me, I just am like, I'm not feeling authenticity. I don't know what's up with this guy. I mean, I really liked what he was saying, but I'm like, okay. He feels very rehearsed.
Yeah.
He's book smart. He knows his facts. He knows history. But so I'm building out like a timeline of all the things that since he was a teenager, actually, that he's been involved in. But one of the interviews that I think I'll talk about, I don't have clips, but I'm in the middle of clipping it, but it's a long interview, so I'm not going to show. But he had an interview with Hugh Hewitt, and Hugh is very much into the military, and so his whole interview with Vivek was about foreign policy. And Vivek here's one interesting thing. He's 37 years old. So he waited until he turned 36 because that's the age requirement, and then ran for president. He touts his executive experience, but when I go and look, he's invested in, he's started up pharmaceutical biotech companies, which was a little yellow flag for me to begin with. But then, like, his reasoning is, I want to cure Alzheimer's. I want to have a cure for cancer. And these pharmacies are throwing these drugs away, or not spending time on these drugs that have promise. And so that was his spiel, or his business case. So now I'm digging into who invested in that, because it's strange how somebody can go from nothing and have an idea and want to found a company to all these big time investors putting their money in. I'm following the money, and the timing is interesting with all the money that he has. That it's almost like a way to get campaign funds in a roundabout way, because he doesn't have really any successful products that his company has made. There's one that was approved by FDA, but it's not like a successful product. So it's not like he has that executive experience he's talking about, where he's built up a company from nothing. It was suddenly there was money being poured in.
Well, and we already established that it was BlackRock, Vanguard, and there was one other big one.
Right, but I'm trying to get the details of that, because I'm hearing that. But so I'm trying to get the details of that. So I don't have a lot of information on that today. But the timing of everything, just before he announces, he sells his shares suddenly go up temporarily. And he's able to sell all his shares and have like almost $1 billion in his pocket and he starts running for president. He's bragging that he's self-funded.
Was he really $1 billion? Okay, wait. I thought his company's net worth went up to $1 billion, even though I think he only owns 7%. This is off the top of my head. I could be wrong. But I thought he made $15 million off of his.
That might be one, but he's got a lot, and he's bragging that he's self-funding his campaign. So are there small donations even going into him before? So all of that I'm still researching, and I want to be very clear when I write about that. But the interview he did around foreign policy, I just noticed a lot of little things. So he made some big big mistakes in there.
Oh, okay. I mean, I know he thinks the Ukraine war should end.
Well,
but
I
what?
mean, he's just going to say, yeah, he's going to say that. Then that's pretty obvious thing. But so, well, first of all, I'm finding things that he does that's not related to content that he says, but things that he does. So he blathers. So when I say that, that means when somebody asks him a question, he goes on and on and on, and he wants to make sure he's pointing out that he knows.
Okay.
He knows about treaties. He knows about history. He knows what happened with this president, that president. And it seems a lot of it's not even related. He tries to tie it in and show how it's related to the question. But that's one thing, because I feel like he wants to show, because he's so young, that he's an intellect, or he's intelligent.
Right.
So that's one thing. But he uses buzzwords and buzz phrases, like shameful that this isn't in the forefront of our conversation, which is not always true. But he made a comment that he's making an intellectual commitment. Intellectual commitment. What's an intellectual commitment? So he sounds really good when he's talking, but then I've been going slowly, like stopping and listening.
What does that mean?
Right. So he says stuff like that, and it just like as he's talking, he sounds, but he says things like that. He says he has executive experience and touting his failed businesses.
Yeah.
And he says that he has executive experience to do these kinds of deals, to bring this kind of diplomacy. But the diplomacy that he's talking about, he talked about Taiwan and saying that he wants to protect Taiwan until we can get the semiconductors away from Taiwan, and then China can pretty much go take them over if they want after that. He said in this interview, China needs to know, and he's very confident and strong in his talking, they should not touch Taiwan until after 2028. And I'm like, after 2028, it's okay after 2028.
Until after we get the semiconductor industry.
He's using very dangerous rhetoric, is what I'm saying.
No, I haven't had one moment of, he might be okay, not one. And I guess we should mention that Trump was asked, would he consider him for a VP? And I went back and I looked, because you were like, he never said that he would, and you're right.
Right.
Everybody's saying that he was agreeable, possibly, but I think there is something else going on there. Some perspectives about that.
We have to listen to everything.
Yeah.
And look at the timelines. And I'm not saying he's bad, so I'm just trying to vet. But he said his response on Taiwan was, he was asked whether he would fire the first shot over in China and start a war over there. And his answer was, it depends.
Ooh.
And then he talked about the dependency on semiconductors. And he said, I'm going to get India on our side, and India will help. And I'm thinking, does this guy not know that India, China, Russia are all a part of BRICS? He didn't even mention BRICS. It's like,
there are a lot of
things. India's not going to help you go attack China. Sorry, dude. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. There were a lot of things not mentioned at the debate, including the mutilation, gender mutilation of children. Did you notice that was never brought up? So I'm just saying, none of the GOP in the debate.
Well, there's only so much time in a debate, but yes, they need.
That's really important. What's going on with
when they're interviewed, they're not asked about it. They're not bringing it up.
Yeah, and Trump is the only one who's actually said that when he's president, he will ban that for across the country. He will ban it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, I don't know, it was kind of surreal, and I couldn't stomach all of it, but I got enough where I just,
Yeah.
it's just a lot of the same old rhetoric, but maybe he's funded by the military industrial complex.
Well, I do want to find out because he's using some pretty dangerous rhetoric.
Yeah.
And Hugh kind of called him out on it, though. So I really appreciated this interview because he said, basically, what you're saying is, I'm going to start a war in China. And he asked him if we could win the war in China. And that's when Vivek said that depends. But I just feel like the rhetoric's dangerous. And the other thing is, you know, you ask President Trump, how are you going to stop Russia and Ukraine in 24 hours? How are you going to do that? And Trump said, well, if I told you, then that would like give them a heads up as to, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm not going to give away my strategy. And here Vivek is willing to try to give away what he says is his strategy, which I think is a dangerous strategy, to be honest.
Absolutely.
One of the other things he says repeatedly, it's almost like he wants to put that in your head. It's like you repeat this way too much. Is as soon as I take office on January 21st, 2025, like the first thing I'm going to do is on January, but he always repeats the date and when I take office. It's almost like he's trying too hard to show that he could be presidential, but yeah. And I just want to clarify, Trump was asked by Glenn Beck whether or not he would be open to having Vivek as VP. President Trump did not say yes. He said, he's impressive. He's intelligent. I like someone who says that I'm the greatest of all time. You know, like, so he likes what he's saying about him. But he did also mention that he's young and that kind of stuff. So if you listen to the whole thing, he never said, yes, I'm open to it.
Well, and it is interesting timing that the DeSantis super PAC did they just shut down, like the big investor? They're no longer backing DeSantis. And then Trump comes out, you know, saying, yeah, he's got a lot of potential base. And, you know, I know that the neocons, you know, establishment rhinos they invested a lot in DeSantis, and that came to naught. And now is he trying to, you know, kind of nudge the Con Inc., you know, into investing in this guy and then drop the bomb later? I mean, you know, there's always a reason for everything he does, and it's not always the out front, you know.
Exactly.
It usually isn't.
And honestly, I don't know if you noticed, but you know, well, first of all, just one comment on you saying that, because I know we were talking about that yesterday. There was a big donor that came out who was backing DeSantis, came out to say we're not backing DeSantis anymore. We're backing Trump now because DeSantis has proven to have a failed campaign. And so there was an interview with one of them, but who knows, because there were several, right? And I think some of the people that probably were funding the Lincoln Project were backing DeSantis, and there's probably different types, right?
Sure.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah.
You know, who do you think, number one, is qualified? Number two, Trump would be interested in for VP? I don't think it's Vivek.
Flynn.
Oh, I didn't think of General Flynn. Actually,
he would be qualified, but he would be qualified for other positions in his cabinet as well.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely qualified. I think Flynn would be qualified with all his experience.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I read that Obama had never met Flynn. I find that hard to believe, and yet he warned Trump that he was the person that he should be most weary of, you know, or that leery, like suspicious, like just be careful.
That's right. That's right. He did warn Flynn.
And that's interesting. So
It is.
Flynn, there's something about him, obviously, and I know that he communicates with Trump fairly regularly. So, yeah. And I mean, we could mention Pence, and there's a lot of controversy and arguing within the Anon community about Pence, and I think he's a good guy.
I'm just gonna comment on Mike put a comment that Trump even admitted that Vivek has become a little controversial.
Okay, cool.
Pence, though, here's one thing about Pence. So I know there are people who are not for Pence because of January 6th, and he didn't say, let's push the stuff back to
the states.
Yeah. However, if you notice when Trump talks about Pence, he does not try to tear him down.
Never.
He says that he's a great person.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wonder, I do think the Pence stuff might be intentional, information war kind of.
Kayfabe? Well, it's not really kayfabe with the
on Pence's side. It is
well, yeah, he's actually coming out against Trump at times.
And Trump complained that Pence didn't do what he asked him to do, and he's disappointed. But he's not putting him down. He's saying what a great person he is. So,
but because of what he did, yes, because of what he did, they closed that loophole. Because after it came up that that's what Trump or just the Republicans wanted him to do, or that he was capable of doing, sending it back. Mm-hmm. They really freaked out after that. And when Pence didn't do it, they closed that. So that can no longer be abused or misused by anyone going forward.
Whole thing.
Exactly. And I don't think a lot of people understand that, Pence took a lot of heat for that. A lot.
He really did. But, this is the reason why we ask people to go up to the 30,000-foot view.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the whole picture.
Yeah.
See everything that's happening. So, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, and then you go a little bit further back when the acting Secretary of Defense, Chris Miller, thanked Pence at that ceremony.
He is so interesting. Yes. Chris Miller.
Like, thank you for your mentoring and assistance, your help in, the greatest, one of the greatest, if not the greatest military operation in our nation. And we're all like, what military operation?
Right.
And Pence is there and he's very humble, but Chris Miller is just like building him up and thanking him. And so, we know that we're in 5G warfare. It's 5th generation. It's an information war. And we cannot take anything at face value. We certainly can't take it from the mainstream media. But even within the players like Pence and others, one day we might know who's, really a good guy and who is really a traitor. But we just can't assume. We can just look and analyze and try to, put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah. I just have a couple of headlines I want to highlight, and then should we get into our memes?
Yeah.
Okay. One thing, I should have brought this up when we were talking about, I only have like 2 that I want to show, and then we can show our memes.
Okay.
But this was an interesting thing that came out a few days ago. That 99% of COVID deaths are not primarily caused by the virus.
Yeah, I saw that. What the heck? I mean,
we knew that though. We knew that.
We did, but 99%, that's a little higher than I thought.
That is higher. I think we were thinking like 80 to 90%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was a big headline. In case you missed it, because I don't post all the news. Number one, I'm working all day, Monday through Friday. But number 2, I just try to be selective because I know other accounts are posting a lot of the things, and I don't need to like be a copycat of other accounts. So I try to find unique things sometimes. Sometimes it's like, whoa, let's all celebrate together. This is happening.
Yeah.
But this also happened. So there is a man who is a trans woman, who there's a court case trying to block him from joining the sorority. He was watching women shower and getting erect.
Oh,
you know. So, but the court said, no, we're not gonna block him from
wow,
being part of that.
Wow.
I think we need to call these kinds of things out and expose and just make sure people are aware. So we don't need to have a big conversation on it. I just wanted to highlight that. But what we should do is let's go through our end of the week memes.
Okay. Maybe just a little bit in chat. Let's see.
Yeah.
Moxie is saying, yeah, I think Pence was vetted more than anyone else. You don't put someone one heartbeat away from the presidency.
You know what, Moxie? That's a really good point, because I was going to bring that up. It's like we have to remember that whoever's vice president is one heartbeat away from being the president.
Yeah.
Really good point, Moxie.
Pence is a good guy, but people get really angry when you say that. I mean, they go off. So that's okay. One day we're all going to figure it out, and then
and we'll find out. I mean, we'll see what happens. But he does have experience. Trump chose him for a reason.
Yep.
And Trump is not bashing him for a reason.
When he bashes a lot,
he doesn't want that video coming back to haunt him during campaign season when he does select him. I have a feeling he's going to.
I do too. I wouldn't be surprised. And I absolutely 100% believe, and well, especially, with the Q drops about Flynn, with the 3 stars, being ready, right? Soon.
And Trump said that in a recent speech.
And then he did. And he called
Flynn to be ready.
Yeah, he was in the audience, like, get ready, stay healthy soon. All those were in the drops years ago. So it is, he'll be there somewhere. NSA, I don't know, Space Force.
I will say this, though. I was kind of looking a little deeper at those drops where it talks about who knows where the bodies are buried. Yeah. And it all references Giuliani.
Oh.
I know we talk about Mike Flynn, but honestly, the drops actually point to Giuliani. And
interesting. Oh, geez.
So I think stuff that Giuliani has to show is going to be interesting. I'm really kind of looking forward to the discovery and the evidence that comes out in these trials.
Yes.
Anyway,
the March 4th is about the subverting, the election, the conspiracy to do that. When is the election? Is that the one where he'll bring discovery? Probably.
That one is that's the one where 2 defendants, including Sidney Powell, want the right to a speedy trial. And so the judge is saying that means everybody gets a speedy trial, and they want to start the proceedings in October.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, so Trump has filed to have his case be independent, because you can't. How do you show proof that the election was stolen and defend yourself by showing that in 2 months? And the judge's response to that was, well, you should have been. You knew this indictment was coming. You should have been gathering evidence the whole time.
But don't you think they have it? It's always like, let them, the enemy believe you're weak when you're strong and all that. I mean, they have it. They have had it for years.
I'm sure they do. But honestly,
like, make it seem like, no, we need more time. And then they're going to force it. And it's like, oh, okay, here it is.
He did file to have his case independent from the rest of them. And they were all 19 defendants were in the same case together until those 2 said, I want a speedy trial.
Okay.
Now they're asking, a few of them are asking to have their cases separate and individual. So this is going to be really interesting. Like the popcorn's coming out. I don't know much about the justice system. I'm going to be watching Just Human because I have a feeling he'll be posting and informing us how these processes are going to work.
Oh, he's really good with all the
he's so good.
I'm glad he can do it because like,
I know.
Even when I read some of it, my eyes glaze over. It's like, huh? I don't know. For some reason, all that, that kind of talk, it's just hard for me. But
exactly.
Moxie, and I know I saw this too. Flynn mentioned just recently knowing where the bodies are buried. I think it was an interview. I don't know who, I watched too many interviews, but so Giuliani probably does.
Flynn did. I think he was standing on stage doing a speech or something, wasn't he?
Okay.
Or was it an interview? I don't remember, but I remember seeing it a few days ago. He mentioned it.
Yeah, so I'm sure there are quite a few who know, but Flynn for sure. Anyway.
Yeah. It's interesting he used that terminology though.
Yes. Yeah.
But I just as I started re-looking, like refreshing my memory on those drops, I'm like, everything's like Giuliani. So yeah, I'm interested. Anyway, let's go through our memes and
Moxie sent you a meme as well. So
she did? Where'd you send it, Moxie?
Probably directly.
Oh.
DM probably, or maybe.
Okay. I'll
we have good ones to start.
Huh?
We have some good ones to start though.
Yeah, I'm gonna save Moxie's real quick.
Okay.
And because I can't do them all at once. Okay. I'll bring Moxie's up first. There we go. I just need to get the URL for it. Here we go. Okay, Moxie, we're gonna show your meme first.
Okay.
Olive Garden waiter grating Parmesan. Just let me know when. Thanks, Moxie. Most of our memes tonight are brought to you by Carrie. I only have one meme that I'm going to share.
When somebody asks me why I don't trust government, MK Ultra, Operation Northwoods, Paperclip, Fast and Furious, Mockingbird, Tuskegee Experiments, Waco, Ruby Ridge, JFK, NSA Spy, Building 7.
Holy moly.
9/11. It goes on and on. Iran Contra. I mean, there's some good ones here. There's some good conspiracy theories in here.
Yeah, there are some good ones in there.
Goldberg.
Trump kept kids in cages.
That
Obama.
Was me.
Trump colluded with Russia.
That was me. Hillary.
Trump stole an election.
Oh, jeez, that was me. Biden.
Oh, this is a good one because it shows so much truth in one little thing. It's great.
The protected need to be protected from the unprotected by forcing the unprotected to use protection that didn't protect the protected. That's the masks.
The masks.
Yeah.
Who's on first? What's on second?
Yeah. They got vaccinated and wearing masks, but we still had to get vaccinated and wear masks. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, we all had to protect each other. And you were a bad person if you didn't care about other people.
Yeah.
So.
Me trying to work out what's happening in the world through memes after I refused to watch the news.
I like it. just you can find out what's going on in the world by just looking at the memes that are trending.
It's true.
That's funny.
When all your normie friends become conspiracy theorists, I'm so proud of you. It's happening slowly. There's still some that aren't.
This is actually, I can relate to this one. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Little by little.
Oh, we already did that one. Then we've got this one.
Yeah.
Trump in his orange jumpsuit in prison.
And honestly, that's how it would be. you know, he has so much street cred now, and like
I know.
crazy what's happened from that mugshot.
I know so many, like there's so many videos of
Like I'd
support
be
for
like,
Trump.
yeah, Trump would be, you know, he'd be in charge of like running the prison.
Okay, so mine is related to my Vivek and Pete Buttigieg.
Okay.
Look at the Spider-Man.
Oh, good.
This was
Did you make that?
No, this was posted on Twitter. I can't take credit for it.
Oh.
I like to do memes, but I haven't had time to do memes lately. But yes, I this one is my favorite of the whole week. Just because, you know, I'm looking into, but that is just hilarious. Like, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Anyway, well, I had fun talking conspiracies with all of you this morning, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for everyone in chat.
Thanks for joining. Please like it and please subscribe and tell your friends. And yeah, this was a blast this morning. I like doing Saturday mornings sometimes.
I do too.
It's kind of fun, you know.
Do y'all like Saturdays? Do you prefer Tuesdays? Should we both sometimes keep doing it like this? Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, let us know your favorite timing for joining us. But coffee and conspiracy
channel, head on over if you're not already there. Love to see you in chat there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm still having my coffee. This is I only had 1 cup of coffee, and it was during the show. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we will see
you guys. Have a great weekend. You too, Nevs.
You too. Bye.
Good night. Or good night.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright